Hello there. Welcome to my review of Columbo Season 12, Episode 1. It's all in the game. First broadcast on the 31st of October 1993 on ABC. Written by a first-time Columbo writer by the name of Peter Falk and directed by returning director Vincent McEvity. The episode begins at a party in a lavish mansion, which quickly turns into a classical music recital, and we soon meet the hostess, Lauren Staton, played by Faye Dunaway. Some guests comment on how well she looks and how it's all down to the new man in her life.
Oh, she looks glorious tonight. She's glowing.
She's in love.
I heard he asked you to marry him.
Oh, it's true. She's sky high.
The man in question, Nick Franco, eventually arrives, but rather than move to greet him, she makes a phone call where she discusses a plan with another woman. If this were any other show, we might be a little confused about what is going on here, but as it's Columbo, I suspect that Nick may not be long for this world.
And you?
I'm ready.
What I like about this setup is that while the format of the show tells us Nick is likely going to be the victim, nothing else is known to us. There's still an element of mystery as to the how and the why. Any doubts we might have about his fate are confirmed by Dunaway's subtle performance, that in this case love is not blind. Nick quickly excuses himself from the party, perhaps a little too quickly, and Staton makes another call, confirming she's working with another woman to murder Nick.
Be careful. He's capable of anything.
I know.
Don't forget your gloves.
We then find Nick in the arms of that other woman, Lisa, played by Claudia Christian. Here it's established that he is not only a philanderer, but also a manipulative thug, as he has left Lisa with a scar and blames her for making him do it.
I hate looking at that. Don't make me do it again.
At this point, you certainly want him to be the victim. Meanwhile, Staton, who has made the excuse of a headache to leave the party, waits with an electric blanket and a gun, and regular Columbo viewers will know exactly what's about to happen, thanks to a similar plot point from the original episode suitable for framing. Staton surprises Nick in his apartment and shoots him dead before embracing Lisa. There's a brief moment where it looks as if the pair might be lovers, but this is quickly revealed not to be the case. They are merely relieved to both be rid of Nick. While I positively advocated for a romantic relationship between two scorned women in Murder, a Self-Portrait, I'm glad that they aren't doing that here, as it changes the motivation of these two women to be less sympathetic. It avoids creating a grey area where we aren't sure if they are getting rid of him because he's a horrible human being or because he's in the way of their romance. We're much more sympathetic to both women at this point. Staton returns to her party to establish her alibi, while Lisa goes about setting up the murder scene to look like a burglary. Staton then later returns to Nick's apartment to discover the body, and Lisa fires a fake shot for the benefit of apartment manager and witness Ruddick. And Columbo is quickly on the scene, with one of his breakfast boiled eggs. While looking for some orange juice to go with his breakfast, Columbo notices water had pooled in the ice tray, where the power had been switched off to commit the murder. He questions the building manager briefly before being introduced to Staton, who he is clearly smitten with, as he makes a rare effort to smarten himself up. Having accidentally worn his pyjama top to the crime scene. She quickly establishes her alibi, which normally would be a big red flag to Columbo, but here he seems genuinely taken by Staten. We've seen hints of this in previous episodes where an attractive woman has left Columbo somewhat distracted, but it's interesting to see that even more in play here. So much so that Staten comments on it the next day, to both Lisa over the phone and Columbo in person, who has arrived at her home. Maybe he isn't as distracted as he seems, although he does take his raincoat off. Columbo asks for an aspirin in passing, and Staten is unsure if she has any. A mistake on her part, as Columbo reveals he's already questioned the guests and that he knows she temporarily left the party due to a headache.
Except for your headache, it was a perfect evening.
What is really interesting about the episode is how it plays with the sexual chemistry between Columbo and Staten. He appears smitten by her, and she slowly reveals an attraction to him. And yet he not only continues to investigate this case like any other, he certainly gives the impression he knows she's involved in the murder somehow. This gives the episode something of a noir feel, which is echoed in some of the shot choices.
It's just that there's something about him. Can't put my finger on it.
Does he want to see you again?
After buying Columbo a tie in an echo of Requiem for a Falling Star, Staten meets Lisa and suggests she leaves the country, which Lisa is reluctant to do. Columbo continues to investigate, admitting to a returning John Finnegan as Barney that he's not sure if she did anything. In a rare instance of Columbo letting us know where he is in this case, and this brings him into contact with Staten again, as she continues to flirt with him, including stealing a kiss from him.
Oh, this. Would you be very angry if I did that again?
This doesn't save her from just one more thing, but he certainly appears sweeter on her than he has any other woman apart from Mrs. Columbo. He manages to track down a phone number Nick made several calls to, and it's Lisa, who he sees leaving her apartment before letting himself in and snooping around. He discovers evidence that Lisa and Staten know each other, and, in the clearest possible terms, demonstrates he's done being toyed with by removing one of the ties Staten bought for him. He returns to Staten's house to confirm his suspicions, and is now the one tying with Staten. He keeps his prearranged dinner with her, where she admits her attraction to Columbo in no uncertain terms, but he uses it to question her. This questioning spooks her, and she contacts Lisa again, convincing her to leave the country. Thanks to Dunaway's fantastic performance, it remains unclear throughout exactly how much he cares about Lisa, or Columbo, and how she might be manipulating them both, and this really adds to the drama and the tension. Columbo invites Staten to Barney's restaurant, where she has bought him a gift, a new bed for Dog, but when he questions her about Nick, she gets very defensive. Undeterred, he has Lisa picked up and invites Staten to the station to watch her interrogation. While we know it's a setup, Lisa is genuinely distressed by the grilling, and Staten is also rattled, more so when Columbo is able to prove there's a connection between the two women. Statton's facade finally breaks and she convinces Columbo to let Lisa go in exchange for her full confession, revealing that she did truly care for Lisa because Lisa was her daughter. Nick was aware they were mother and daughter when he started seducing them both and used this to fund his playboy lifestyle. Neither one knew they were dating the same man, and when they found out, and after how he treated them both, Statton plotted the murder, making sure Columbo understands that Lisa was not involved in the murder and her accomplice was a man she is unwilling to identify. This is a fascinating episode for several reasons. While there's certainly an element of wish fulfillment with Falk writing Columbo a love interest and then having Faye Dunaway play her, it is still in service of a very good story. The nods to previous episodes also work really well, as they are not explicit, nor do they require you to know those episodes to understand them. But if you do know the show, they help as a form of shorthand. What's really fascinating, though, is how it successfully plays with the format, where other episodes have tried and failed. We're let into a small portion of Columbo's inner workings and how he approaches a case, but also we're never quite sure how invested he is in the case or in Dunaway's character, and which one will triumph. We're also kept completely in the dark about the mother-daughter relationship until the end. The way their relationship is framed within the episode and the way Dunaway plays her character leads you to assume they might be lovers rather than mother and daughter, and this makes the ending more powerful as the rug is pulled from under you. This is only ever implied, though, and had I been clever, I should have spotted that the idea of them being lovers is entirely a red herring. But it's intentionally framed that way, and it works perfectly. The gotcha is also very effective, as Columbo really doesn't have one, other than to play Statton off her love for Lisa and hope it works, which it does, but in the kind of bittersweet ending we haven't seen since Forgotten Lady. We are presented with a strong, resilient woman who kills her lover because he's a scumbag. We then find out that there may be more to it, and she may just be manipulating her accomplice as she's tried to manipulate Columbo. Before it's revealed, she was always trying to protect her accomplice, her daughter. Up until that reveal, we want her to get caught, and we are glad when she is. But that reveal turns the episode on its head. It's a brilliant twist in a brilliant episode with a brilliant cast. This might be my favourite of the relaunch and is certainly a 5 out of 5 from me. Thank you. Goodbye.